Welcome to the Good Morning from the Chicken Coop podcast with Kim Johnson, your creative strategist and master mindset coach. Filled with inspiration, distinctions, perspectives, and possibilities, we help you to cultivate a mindset that leads you to create the best version of yourself you could ever imagine. Join Kim every morning from one of her favorite happy places, her chicken coop, along with all her chickens.
Hey everybody, good morning from the chicken coop. So I want to ask you a question about going to the grocery store because I know if I go to the grocery store and I don't have a list, I all of a sudden start buying everything. I will buy things that I never thought I needed, and then I come home and I expect my husband to turn them into something because I'll be like, oh, this looked cool. And he's like, did you have an idea with this? No, I just thought that it looked cool. And also there's the other piece of going to the grocery store while you're starving. When you walk in and you know you're hungry, and you should never have walked into the store hungry, because what happens when you go to the grocery store and you're hungry? You start buying ridiculous things that you know you're just going to stuff in your mouth the moment you walk out the door and sit in the car, and you know you didn't necessarily even want to have that kind of snack. Oh, let's say, for instance, when you walk by the baked goods and there's the croissants, the chocolate-filled croissants, or maybe it's in the prepared food area and you pull off a container of like those chicken nugget things that are like, you know, with the sauces and whatnot. And you're just, you know, hungry. So you're grasping at anything at that point in time. So this is a metaphor I want to use for you guys today, because this is what happens to us in life if we are not clear about our outcomes, and we are not clear about our desires, and we are not clear going into our everyday patterns about things. This is what we'll end up doing. We will grasp at straws. We will go into the store and we will buy the things that we don't want. I mean, talk about going into a convenience store. Oh boy, you go in for like, you know, to get a lottery ticket, let's say, with an intention of getting the lottery ticket, and before you know, you're walking out with a Slim Jim and a Monster drink, and it's like, oh no, I don't even want to eat these things. I don't want to put these things in my body, but randomly they're here. So why does this happen? Well, the crux of it comes down to this. When you are not prepared, when you do not call on yourself to set a standard for something before you go in, or an intention, or a mix of both, because they are different things. Standards and intentions are two different types of things. But if you don't call on those parts of yourself before you go into doing something, you will inevitably do something you are not happy with. And it's very human nature. Now, some people would argue the point of, well, is it really a bad thing to have those moments? No, not all the time. But the problem is, when you do this all the time, it becomes another one of those dreaded habits that we don't love. And before you know it, it's happening more and more and more. So the reason I'm bringing this up is because often at this point in a year, people start to, we're coming to the end of summer soon when I'm recording this, and this time of the year tends to be when people are even more lax than they have been before. They want to get the last few bits of it in. So it's like, okay, I'm going to just enjoy myself, and you should enjoy yourself. But you should do it with a plan so that you don't have all this stuff to clean up after Labor Day. Because, for us, it's like September, first weekend in September is like when we all try to get back to work and make that big push before the holiday season. And that's wonderful, but it doesn't have to be such big waves of in and out, in and out, in and out. So the reason I want you to pay attention to this is so that you can say, yes, I can have fun, but I'm not going to have all the fun in one day so that I feel terrible on Monday, and then I have to deal with everything then. And I want you to think about how else this shows up in your world, where you just, without a plan, without an intention, when you go into something, it's not always your best bet. Now, there are times when it's excellent if you're going into creative zone and you're just like, I'm going to let things happen. But notice we do that with an intention. We do that with an idea in our head that this is what's going to happen now. So if you can just simply think this through and follow it the way I'm talking about it, in the sense of just take that moment to pause, collect your thoughts, say to yourself, okay, what's my big outcome right now? What's the thing that I'm going to pay attention to? What am I getting in there? What am I not getting? Perfect example, this past weekend I went to the farmer's market and I was like, okay, I'm going to go in and I'm going to go to this guy that makes these little cutting board butcher block type things. And I was looking for one specific if he had it. But then guess what? I didn't sit there and make a plan for, okay, I'm only going in for that and I'm not getting anything else. I started walking around, and before you know it, I was at my favorite baker's counter. And of course, she had the goodies that I know my family likes, and I had a whole bag of them by the end of it. And I started laughing and I said, boy, look at me, not even following my own rules. Had no intention that I was conscious of saying this is the only thing I was doing. I went in, I did this, I got all this other stuff, and now here I am with all these goodies coming home. So I had to clear up my intention of not eating them all, putting them there, letting everybody else have what's there, but me not touching the ones that I knew I was going to have an issue with. Of course, I had some of it because that's what you do to have a good time. That's what you do. You have a little bit of it here and there, but you just don't make it a long-term thing. And you stop yourself so that it doesn't become something that takes you over. So hopefully this is helpful for you today, and make that grocery list. Make those intentions. Get that clear in your mind each and every day, even throughout the day, and you will be infinitely better at your outcomes. Have a blessed day, everybody. Bye.